Hello my friends, this is Buck Weezer and you've tuned to Buck's Small Engine DIY on YouTube. But it's great to be out here in the shop and have some interesting things to work on today. And right now I wanted to draw your attention to this John Deere lawn tractor featuring the Kohler command engine, the 15 horsepower. And this was brought to me by a gentleman. He also brought me the deck that needs some attention, and of course the cracked up plastic hood, just like they all seem to have. But the story here is this is a crank no start situation. In other words, you turn the key, the engine will crank, but there is nothing, it just doesn't start or run. It just cranks. So that's what I mean by crank. Crank means the engine spins in an attempt to start, but it doesn't actually start. So this is a crank no start situation. And I found something that looks like it might be kind of interesting and also kind of ominous. So I said, maybe what I can do is just to start is check, make sure we got spark. And I came down here, removed the boot from the spark plug, and it's occurred to me, this looks like a new and clean spark plug wire, and wonder if maybe the coil's been changed at some point. And I just started pulling on it. What in the world? Has the coil broken off? Is the ignition coil broken off in there? Well, that will keep you from sparking and starting and running, but it scares me because I don't know what I'm going to find under there. Why the coil would break off is what we're going to find. So I'm going to take a shroud off, then I'll turn the camera back on and show you what we're looking at. Well, that quick, our diagnosis is complete and disappointing. Coil has come off and one of the two posts has snapped off. Why did that happen? Well, this one doesn't even seem tight. So perhaps it wasn't put down tight enough, or it came loose in such a way that the magnet came around and interfered with it. You can see this side's all chewed up. And I don't know if there's any repair for this. I don't think there is. That's just bad luck. Obviously this has been replaced. This is a replacement coil from at some point. I think the guy said somebody sold him this tractor. Anyway, you know, so this is loose, so maybe it came loose. I don't know if I can fix this. That's just so disappointing. It really is. I also noticed that the other screw is missing. Did it fall out, or was it never installed originally? Because obviously it's coming around this way, and it first jammed up against this and then snapped this off. So maybe that screw was never even installed. So some poorly done repair has now compromised this entire engine. You know, this post is molded into the engine block. It's not part of the head. Can't just get a renew. It's part of the engine itself. You try to put it back on with JB Weld. It's certainly not anything you could ever guarantee. It's just disappointing because these are great engines, and somebody's carelessness, that's not the screw, someone's carelessness has resulted in this whole engine being completely compromised. And I find that just really frustrating and disappointing for the guy who owns this. All right, my friends, welcome back. It's been a few days and I'm still thinking about this John Deere with the Kohler command engine and the broken, you see it right here, the broken mount for the ignition coil. And I wanted to talk to you about something. All right. Now you may have noticed, or maybe you didn't notice, in my recent videos, that I'm missing a couple of teeth right here. You see that? I'm involved in a lengthy and expensive process by which 2 titanium posts were inserted, screwed up into my jaw. And I had this idea. The new teeth will be hung on those posts. Well, this kind of reminds me of a tooth, if you think about it that way. Could I do a similar process with this? Insert a post into the top of this tooth and also down into the engine block and reattach this, maybe with the post and some kind of product like JB Weld. Now, I talked to the owner of this tractor. I told him the only real repair is to replace the engine, and we just can't do that. It's not feasible for him, and he's probably just going to scrap the tractor if we can't fix it. So we really have nothing to lose by giving this a try. And I don't know, maybe we'll get some more life out of it. Sound kind of risky? Again, what do we have to lose? So I'm going to give it a try, and it should be interesting. So let's get to it. All right, so here's the post I'm going to use. I don't know where I got it. It's kind of hard metal and kind of reminds me of a float, you know, inside a carburetor. It's 1 inch long, and I want to drill down here. I don't want to go too deep into the block. I don't want it to go into the engine block itself. Just maybe 3/8 of an inch that way. And then I can drill 5/8 of an inch this way and insert it up in there. And we will use that and some of this JB Weld steel stick. I don't know. It's worth a try, and we'll do that. I also was able to pick up a new ignition coil. So I think we're ready to go ahead and try this in an experimental fashion, but what do we have to lose? And if I dropped it, oh, it came out the bottom. That's not bad. I like that. It's about as deep as I want to go. I want to get a vacuum, and then I'm going to try to drill up through into the tooth in about the same place so I can get it on there. And yeah, hopefully this is going to work. All right, so here it is, the steel stick. I'm wearing gloves. I got to need this for a few minutes. It sets up in 3 to 5 minutes, which isn't a lot of time. I moved this fuel line out of the way, so I have room to work. What else did I move? I don't know, but I got room to work here. I've drilled my hole, and I drilled it a little bigger than the pin because I want the piece to come down and be exactly where it was before. And I expect that a little bit of the epoxy will squeeze into the holes around the post. At least that's what I'm hoping. I cleaned the post, degreaser, and some sandpaper, so hopefully we got a good surface. And now we're kneading. I need the dough. How I need the dough. So let me work on this, and I'll bring you right back when it's time to work our magic. Alright, we knead until we reach a uniform color. And I think I've got that. So I'm going to put that on there. And then we're going to press into it. And then I'm going to wrap around it. I mean, it's an air-cooled engine. I don't really want to fill up the spaces with epoxy, but I got to take that risk, you know. Probably just need to let it be, let it be. Like so. I think that's probably all I can do, really. This piece is not contributing. All right, fabulous. Okay, welcome back. It's the next day. It's been 24 hours, and that JB weld's supposed to be hard in an hour. Well, I've given it 24 hours just because I've had other things to do. That feels pretty solid. Now, what I want you to understand is I decided to see how I did this. What I decided to do is, while it was, before it had set up, and while it was still malleable, soft, I decided I'm going to mount the ignition coil because I didn't want to take the chance that I would glue this down and it would harden and it would be just slightly offline and the screw holes wouldn't line up anymore. So I actually mounted the ignition coil and gapped it with a business card before the putty set up. And there it is. I mean, it's ready. I'm ready to test this, and thought I would share that with you. Now, I don't know if this tractor is going to run and start. I don't know if it has any other issues. But let's see if the repair that we did right now is going to work. So I'm going to remove the business card. Well, you know what we ought to do is we ought to just spin this. We ought to just spin this flywheel by hand. Make sure. Okay, so that's good. That seems just fine. All right. Now, what I want to do is, don't know if it's going to start or not, but I put in the inline spark tester right there. Let me zoom you in on that. We'll see if it actually flashes when we attempt to start this. Let's see. Probably have to apply the parking brake. Do I have to be seated? I don't know. Let's choke it. You watch that. Spark tester. Well, so far it's working, and we have spark. The ignition coil works, and looks like maybe we got some oil burning, a little smoke there. I don't know the last time this thing ran, but it's running now. And I guess the question is, of course, going to be how long will our post repair with the dental implant, how long will that hold up for us, for the owner of this tractor? I don't know, but it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I guess I can button it all up again and just clean it up, and then I got some work to do on the cutting deck. But it looks like our initial test is success. right, that's it. It's running. I actually had to do some carburetor work. It stopped running very well, and there was a bunch of crud in the carburetor bowl, but I did that, and it's running better now. And so I'd like to hear your thoughts. Do you think this repair job will hold up, or will it fail within a short time? There's no way to know except to put it back into use and see what happens. In the meantime, I think it's a lot better option than scrapping the tractor. The Kohler command engines are always pretty nice, pretty reliable. I like them very much. The tractor still works, runs, drives, and so I don't know. Maybe we came up with a good DIY hack for that broken ignition coil mount. Thanks for watching today's video. Like I always like to say, only you can put the do in the do-it-yourself, so go do it yourself. And I'll see you on our next video. Bye.